what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero. And they tried to kill the next president of the United States. Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
There is perhaps no better encapsulation of the current state of American politics than Hulk Hogan's appearance at this year's Republican National Convention.
I'm here tonight because I want the world to know that Donald Trump is a real American hero. And I'm proud to support my hero as the next president of this United States.
I don't think Donald Trump has ever looked at Melania the way he's looking at Hulk Hogan right now, because Trump knows this stunt is playing directly into one of the Republican Party's main policy platforms, owning the libs at all costs.
And I know tough guys, but let me tell you something, brother. Donald Trump is the toughest of them all.
Ah, yes, because lying about bone spurs to dodge the draft is what a real tough guy would do. And Hogan should take a hard look in the mirror to realize that one of the weakest things anyone could do is resort to slurs and bigotry to describe something you disagree with.
Hogan is heard on the tape, which was recorded in 2006, talking about his daughter Brooke, who he accused of sleeping with an African American. I mean, I am a racist to a point. But then when it comes to nice people and whatever, then says, I mean, I'd rather, if she was going to some, I'd rather have her marry an 8-foot tall worth $100 million, like a basketball player. Guess we're all a little racist.
If you've been following the disastrous end to Hogan's career or our work over the years, this is hardly surprising. Just like seeing the room of majority white people at the RNC wildly cheering and celebrating two union-busting racist scumbags like Hogan and Trump. Hogan's speech was a pretty standard affair for a Trump rally as far as the content he talked about, but that was never the true goal of his appearance. What the campaign really wanted to weaponize was his showmanship, theater skills, nostalgic celebrity persona, and personal history with Trump. Far too many Americans are disengaged with the entire political system because they see it as a glorified WWE match or a soap opera with far less scandalous plot lines, and the politicians only serving certain segments of the population. While people who think like this are correct on many levels, the fact that this attitude even exists and political participation is as low in our country as it is gives a rise to figures like Donald Trump and much more dangerous candidates, while also empowering the fringes of the Republican Party to seize more power however they can get it.
I was just in the back trying to get my head right and get into the moment, and I started thinking, I'm Dr. Hogan. I'm Dr. Hogan. I can fix Trump derangement syndrome because Donald Trump has so much love and he cares so much about this country and he cares so much about people that Trumpomania is the cure for, Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
But I forgot to say it.
Oh.
So I'm saying
Well, you
it
just said it.
I know. And all the stuff that the press writes about him, he's not that guy.
As the election approaches, we're going to be seeing a lot more of Hulk Hogan on the campaign trail, but in a rather shocking move, we may also be seeing a lot more of Hogan's worst enemies.
So it doesn't surprise me to see Hogan with the Republicans because Hogan's as anti-union as you can get. There still is not a union in professional wrestling. The reason I tried to do it, I was in an elevator and ran into Gene Upshaw, the great tackle guard from the Oakland Raiders. Right. And Big Gene raised his finger up and looked at me and says, you boys need to form a union. I tried to do it, and it was Hulk Hogan who ratted me out to Vince McMahon, and subsequently I was fired and lost my job.
The one and only Jesse the Body Ventura.
Donald Trump is for Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is going to do whatever it is that supports Donald Trump. So he looked the situation over. He obviously saw that he could take over the Republican Party. So he changed his views. He went from pro-choice now to, no rights for women's reproductive. He's gone far right. He's trying to say he's now a religious person.
This is one of the most infuriating aspects of Trump's rise from observing outside of the cult. Anyone with a functioning brain knows he's nothing but a narcissist working to further his own ambitions and has never and will never care about anyone other than himself. Maybe his daughter Ivanka.
Governor Walz served honorably for 24 years in the National Guard. After 20 years, you are eligible to retire at any time you deem necessary. They talk about him missing his deployment. Well, maybe Mr. Vance should ask the real question. What is the National Guard doing deploying to a foreign country in a foreign war? Well, let's go into history and figure out how that happened. That happened because George W. Bush and Dick Cheney went into the Iraq War based on lies, no weapons of mass destruction, no ties to Al-Qaeda, nothing with 9/11, and they ran out of bodies. They needed more bodies. They couldn't implement a draft. That would be political suicide. So what George Bush did was sign an executive order sending the National Guard into foreign deployment. The National Guard is not for foreign deployment. Their name says what they do. They guard our nation from within.
We cannot stress enough how refreshing it is to see someone like Ventura tell the unequivocal truth about the Iraq War on national television while defending Tim Walz's military credentials. A Vietnam War veteran himself, Ventura knows exactly how the government views service members. Disposable fodder used solely to stay on top of the geopolitical leaderboard.
Who does he have respect for? Donald Trump. The biggest draft dodger from the Vietnam War, the rich white boy who bought his way out of it. I come from South Minneapolis. My friends and I didn't get out of it. We either got drafted or we enlisted. I know 6 or 7 or 8 of my friends. Donald Trump was your typical rich white boy who didn't have to serve in Vietnam because he could buy his way out of it. And that's who Vance is standing with, this guy who leads from the rear. You don't criticize another veteran and how they served, whether they're a cook or whatever they do. They all have a job to do. And if you're going to be successful, everybody has to do their job and pitch in to be successful.
This attitude is precisely why Ventura needs to be out on the campaign trail more, whether it be the military, a sports team, your workplace, etc. Everyone should be valued and appreciated for the work and effort they put into achieving the larger team goal, but that goes against everything the Republicans believe and base their worldview on.
There shouldn't be any billionaires, and I'll tell you why. Because nobody works hard enough to get $1 billion. And my hardest job I ever did was going through Navy SEAL training, and I was making $4 a day. And you're going to tell me a billionaire worked harder than I did? Bull crap.
If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.